There's nothing I love more than having a great conversation. Unless I get to have it for the second time around, because that is exactly what is happening today. We are in the beautiful home of Annmarie Leach of Yummy Mummies. Now, a bit of a backstory. Annmarie was actually the first pivoter that we recorded. I mean, we had a great time. We were cooking, we were yucking it up, everything. But as time went on, and as you can tell, we started to discover things about how we could really make something good better. And we said, you know what? Let's revisit Annmarie. And here we are today with Yummy Mummy herself, Annmarie Leach. How are you?
Good, Gaynelle. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited the second time around.
Oh, well, I was thinking,
this is great.
Thanks for having us back.
No problem.
And look at us. It is Christmas everywhere. I love it.
We're big Christmas fans here.
Good. I hope this airs in June, just to prove how big of a Christmas fan you are, because as am I.
Yeah, I love Christmas.
And you know, it's a family time of the year.
Yep. And especially after the pandemic and stuff, we're still in it really, but you know, it just brings home what's the most important, which is family.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I know you've been paying attention to the Pivot series and you've been following your
I love it.
fellow Pivot
love
sisters. And we've been having a great time. So we were very excited, Nathaniel and I, to come on back and visit with you because it's a story I think people are going to absolutely love. So before we get into your story, just tell us what Yummy Mummies is.
So Yummy Mummies is a meal prep service. We offer health coaching as well, all plant-based. So basically how to incorporate more plant-based foods into your diet, less meat and animal products, and kind of go from there and share the knowledge on what I do and how it can benefit you. That's really what we're all about.
Now I noticed you said less meat and not no meat zone, no Xing out the meat.
Yeah, because I feel like if you come straight with a negative, and when you say none of one thing, especially when it comes to meat, to a Bajan, your mind is closed off.
Yeah.
So you start with less. And as you start to feel better from eating more plant-based, you're not going to want it as much in your diet as possible. And that's I kind of try to gently teach people, you know, and not force anything on them.
And it's amazing because food is the one thing that can unite us all.
Yeah.
And even if you're not certified, card-carrying vegan, the meals are so delicious.
Well, that's it. You don't need meat to enjoy a tasty meal. You know, we did Cocktail Garden last weekend at my house. I held an event here and the guest speaker was Crystal. I think Crystal's on the Pivot series as well.
Yeah.
Right. And Plant Parents. She is a meat mouth.
Yes.
She's saying about it, meat mouth.
Meat mouth.
And she said she's like, when we asked her to come and speak at the event, she said, well, if it's not meat, I don't want it. And then she made a post after the event saying it was plant-based, but everything was delicious. And you've convinced me that you can eat plant-based and enjoy food. And that's just what it's about.
Yeah.
Helping people to open their minds, realizing that, you know, first of all, you don't only have to have animal protein for it to be protein.
Right.
So you can be healthy, plant-based, but also that it tastes good.
Yeah.
It actually tastes good, you know, so that's just what it's really all about, sharing knowledge.
Sharing knowledge. And the thing is, your knowledge probably started like most people's knowledge in the kitchen, at the feet of grandma, at the feet of mom,
definitely,
dad, whomever.
Yeah.
And I know you credit your grandmother a lot
for
for a lot of the things that you would have learned in the kitchen, to the point where you actually won your first cooking competition.
Yeah.
Very, very early.
No, exactly. It's all about, you know, she was my greatest influence when it came to cooking. And in the kitchen, I was with her all the time, especially around Christmas. But my first competition I won with a savory green banana loaf. And I literally was, you know, just had the ingredients and what could I do with this? And I was looking at a lot of meatloaf recipes and I said, I don't like meat. I've never liked meat. And I just never really liked it. I always left it to the side. And that's how it kind of started. And I played around with it. And I said savory banana loaf, green banana loaf, and went from there. I won my first competition. $10,000.
Wait, what?
Yeah, $10,000.
Okay, I didn't know about that.
And the Prime Minister's Award. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, because I would have been vegan in a minute if I knew that's what we were handing out.
Well, and I always say, like, you know, because I didn't start off only doing meat. Sorry, only doing plant-based. I started off doing meat because that's what Asians like.
Yeah.
And, you know, got to make the money. I wasn't making money when I started doing it. And but more and more, I just kind of said, I want to follow my passion. I don't want to do what everyone else is doing just for money. Not that money isn't important, but following your passion is more important. Doing what really you love to do, because then the money will follow. And so far, it hasn't steered me wrong. You know
what? Good for you.
Yeah.
And this is really what the essence of the series has been about.
Yeah.
People who have taken the decision, pivoted, and followed their hearts and minds, because you don't just follow your heart. You got to take your mind on with you.
Yeah, exactly.
So what we would like to do is get into who Annmarie is. Like, what was growing up like, especially one of three young women, three girls in the house with mom and grandma.
I think we were always growing up, we were always encouraged to be creative. My mom suffered from hypertension, so the diet had to drastically change. And I think that was what really helped me to focus on more healthy eating and whatnot, because my mom had to, so I had to learn how to cook healthier with my mom.
Right.
And that's kind of always how it started. I was always encouraged to be creative, always very active. And I always loved to cook. So my grandmom said, you love to eat, so you got to learn how to cook. And it was just that we had to be very responsible in terms of giving back to our home in some way. And cooking was my way, how I could do it the healthy way or the healthier way. And sometimes I'm sure it was like, not taste good. I remember when I first had Kaylee and I would try all these, I would always make like mac and cheese, but it was like maybe with squash. I wouldn't use any cheese. It would be like pureed squash for the cheese. And my friends would be like, what are you doing? And I was like, cheese isn't good for you. Dairy isn't good for you. It causes inflammation. And they would look at me like, what's wrong with you? Give the girl some macaroni and cheese.
Squash is not doing it.
I said, she's gonna eat macaroni and cheese.
Yeah.
But she has to know the other option as well, because the more information you have, the better your decisions are gonna be.
Absolutely.
So that's
And you brought her up because one of your babies actually influenced your decision to actually look at this passion project and monetize it.
Yeah, exactly. So I was currently in a business. I was in a business and, I wasn't doing well and times were hard. And I just, I don't like to give up. So I was just trying to make the best of the situation. And we went into the supermarket and she wanted a Magnum. And
Who does?
Right? And I said, no, there are vegan Magnums available.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I can check those out.
Yeah, they're really good. But so I said, she said she wanted a Magnum. And I said, I don't have any money. And she said, you never have money.
Ooh.
And I was embarrassed, but it also struck something in me. I said, well, you're right. Why am I working so hard? All this talent, all this energy towards something that's not making you any money. And I decided I had to look at things differently. Whereas I was chasing money before and not getting it, I had to chase a passion. Because when you chase passion, as I said before, money will flow from it. And that's how Yummy Mummies came. I literally took a picture of my lunch, which was vegan. And I said, who wants lunch? And it started from there.
I do. I want lunch. What is that?
It was hummus and black rice with a salad on the side and super simple. Yeah, but super yummy and healthy and different. I feel like maybe I was probably one of the first on the island doing plant-based. Not the only, but one of the first. So a lot of people definitely weren't accustomed to it, but it was what I liked to eat. And I've had clients now for 5 years, stuck with me through thick and thin because of how they feel, and it just goes from there, really and truly. Yeah.
Why I love following stories, and there is a woman who I hope sees and hears this episode, and I introduced her to you online, Tabitha Brown.
Oh, yes.
How
Oh my gosh.
addictive is Tabitha?
Her energy is crazy addictive.
It is.
Yeah, and I follow her now because you introduced me to her online.
Yeah, because I'm like, oh no, I think good vegans need to know each other, good energies. And a lot of what she said was, I was having headaches all the time. Like, it was like a day that she woke up without a headache was a weird day.
Yeah.
Because she's not accustomed to the clarity.
Yeah.
And she just wasn't feeling well. And I don't know how exactly she got turned onto plant-based, but it was recommended she just incorporated more fruits and vegetables in her diet and cut out a little bit more meat.
Right.
And
that's why I always start with less meat.
Yes.
Because if I tell you no, automatically that's like, whoa, no?
Yeah.
But why can't I?
And now this is nothing more that I want more than this meat.
Exactly. But as you say, include more and take less of, then you're open to the idea of it. And plant-based is, vegan is ethical, which is fine.
Yeah.
You care about the animals, I care about the animals too, but plant-based is more focused on health. Incorporating more things, less processed items, and you will start to feel the change because there's crap in everything. So,
and I guess we don't notice it until it's no longer there.
Right.
And for her, the first thing was the headaches were gone. So that's already a cure.
Exactly.
And then the energy started to come and the skin started to clear up and her spirit and her hair, everything just started to go in the right direction.
And I run a lot. I mean, I run maybe at least 20 kilometers a week.
See, that's a lot right there. All of that is a lot.
But, I found I had, and I used to do, what's it called? Oh my gosh, the weights. Man, Fanny will help me. What is it called?
Oh, you mean like when you do CrossFit?
There we go. I used to do CrossFit. And I used to find that I had so much energy when I started eating plant-based. I felt lighter and I could go farther for longer when it came to running, but I could lift heavier. And I said, my body is doing less to break down all this animal protein. So it's giving me more energy and more focus on other parts of my body.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just my logic, but
no, it probably is true.
Yeah, well, how I felt, it's like, I say, you may not want to do something when you start to feel better. You're going to want to stick to whatever it is that gives you that feeling.
Right.
You're going to want to continue to feel that way. And for me, plant-based was that. So
we do want to get real, because what we don't want people to think is, well, one day she felt bad and she did something that made her feel good and she has a business, and today we're in her house. Some things happened along the way. You had to learn to have your own business, which is, again, one of the main feedbacks of most people's stories. You had to learn how to have a business.
Yeah, I had to learn how to, I feel like, I don't know all of them, but a lot of women kind of have an idea like they're right and they know what they're doing. But I had to learn to take feedback, learn how to mold my business into what people wanted, especially being a plant-based business. I had to learn how to reinvest into my business and not try to, because I would say anything would last me the longest, but you have to reinvest into your business and you have to save. You have to put down. You have to do without. You have to learn how to do without. Because what started as something out of desperation, because I had no money, save for my house. So putting down money and reinvesting and, not having certain things. And it just showed me how I could use this business to actually put a roof over the house, a roof over the head of my kids, and help support my husband and what he does. So yeah, the business definitely, it took some time and it wasn't easy. It was very hard, lots of challenges, but it's worth it. It's worth it. And anybody can do it. You just have to be disciplined. Disciplined with yourself and learn to do without. I think a lot of times we want, but wanting isn't the way to get things.
Yeah.
You really have to separate your wants and your needs and really be honest with yourself. And I think struggling for so long, you really realize a lot of your wants are just that.
Yeah.
You think your wants are your needs, but they aren't. You learn to do without. So, people, you spend so much money going out on a weekend drinking. Stay home.
Stay home, build a business.
Stay home, build a business.
Yeah.
You like lots of wine, maybe try cheaper alcohol for the time being, but you find different ways that you can save and you reinvest into your brand. And that's where you really go. Yeah.
At Dwellings, we believe that home means happy. That your home is a place where you do what you love, with the things that you love, and the people who you love. That's why our selection of housewares and fine furnishings is designed to inspire your dream home. Dwellings, we make your home happy.
Annmarie, I know you spoke a lot about doing without, making the necessary sacrifices to see the big goal, which is fine. But did you have to implement any formalized money management training or get some sort of money mentor to know what to do with finances?
Yeah, I think I'm so blessed to be surrounded by great women, really great women who are my support system. And one of my great friends who has a great business, she's very successful, she's my mentor. And I don't pay her, but she's definitely mentored me in terms of how to run a business and, basically, put down for a rainy day and those sort of things. So you definitely need to have somebody in your corner. Well, you may pay them, you may not pay them, but everybody should have a mentor. It's very, very essential to have a successful business. So yeah, that's basically what I do have. And I think your lessons are the biggest teachers. Having a really, really rough time, I just learned to do with less. And those, when I was going through it, it was so hard and I couldn't even believe it. But now that I can have more, I still remain with less, just so that I can, put down for a rainy day. And I think during the pandemic, that's all the lessons that we could learn.
Yes.
We had to have in case something like that happened.
Exactly.
And the pandemic is horrible, but a lot of people started looking towards health and healthier options. And luckily enough, that's why I provide.
Yeah.
So as much as it was hard for me to readjust the whole family dynamic and teaching from school, which was, teaching from home, which was crazy, there was still opportunity for me to provide certain things for customers, whether it's knowledge or, turmeric juices and ginger shots.
Oh my goodness.
And all that sort of stuff.
There was a craze at one point.
Yeah.
That was like, should have grown turmeric.
I started doing turmeric juice. I started doing turmeric juice and selling before everything shut down.
Yeah.
Because that was a window of opportunity. So yeah, you just kind of roll with the punches, I did a lot of social media posting because I had more time on my hands. I have a very big personality, so I kind of included my children in that with me. We went online. So, and it worked out, I got much more of a following based on just, putting myself out there and talking to people and giving my advice on plant-based.
So even that was like a marketing pivot.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't meant to be, but it was. You used the time to rediscover yourself and remarket. Yeah, so that.
Well, let me ask you how you managed to balance your care responsibilities. You have children, you have a husband, you have your business, you still have you've got these dogs, you've got so many things going on. How did you find the time and how did you navigate who's going to get what, how everybody's still going to feel cared for while you care for yourself?
I think that having a business and learning to delegate and not doing everything by yourself. As I said, I have a really great support system, a great support system of women, and they all have their duties. My friends pitch in time to time. But yeah, I've learned to say no as well.
That's a big one.
Yeah,
it is a big one.
And having boundaries.
Yeah.
And people have to respect your boundaries or they're not in your lives. And that's just what it is. Kind of being more honest with yourself, and I think my goal, everybody has different goals and everybody has a different term for success. But for success for me is a great example to my children, my girls, raise strong girls and just show them that you can work hard and you can have downtime. You can put yourself first as well. And you can put some money aside that's your money. And you can put your money into things that really, fill your passion. And that's success to me. So that is what I relate to. And the same dogs.
The dogs are like, are we done?
Yeah. And I have 3 huge dogs, but you just go day by day and you take on one task at a time and you give your best to everything. And be hard work. Don't be afraid to work hard. Working hard is essential.
Yeah.
People can be better dressers than you. They can be prettier than you. They can be smarter than you, but don't let them outwork you. Work hard for what is yours and keep going, because it's not like working hard and you stop. No, you work hard every day, but there's a certain amount of pride in working hard. People, try to shy away from hard work. No, be proud to work hard, and do it effortlessly. You just, just do it.
Make it a part of what you do.
It's just what you do. I run a lot and, and people say, oh, why do you run so much? But it's something good for you. And you are afraid to do something that's hard, even though it's good for you. But no, it's good for you, so you do it. And just go about life like that, I think.
I mean, I might find something else to do besides run.
Yeah, but whatever.
I'll still do what's good for me.
Exactly. It doesn't have, but don't be afraid to challenge yourself.
Absolutely.
That's really what it's about. Challenge yourself, even though it's hard, and long term, it's the right thing for you. And that's kind of what I try to teach my girls. Ultimately, that's my goal.
Yeah.
That's my definition of success.
There you go.
Yeah.
And what I like especially about your story, is that along the way, you tapped into what was true for Annmarie.
Yeah, for sure. Because I was chasing money and how to make money, and I wasn't getting any money.
So, I mean, that's also the title of the movie. Was chasing money, wanted money, was not getting money.
And it's not that money isn't important. Of course, it's essential.
Yeah.
You need money. And, back in the day, I think you don't want to be rich because, that's taboo. You shouldn't want to be rich. I'm not saying I want to be rich, but I want to be comfortable. And I want my children to be comfortable.
Yeah.
And have that freedom and that wiggle room to, if they want to go off for a weekend, they can do it because they've invested and they've put money aside to be able to enjoy life, right?
Having money is important.
Having
to put
money
away for the things that you really want in the future.
It is important. And that's really what I was just trying to teach my girls.
Yeah.
So that's basically it.
And that's a fantastic lesson as far as I'm concerned. Also, it makes you really think about the stuff you really want as opposed to the fleeting things that you may want it today, 2 days later. It's like buyer's remorse.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I feel like, you don't want things, but so many times I've bought things and in like a day or two, it's like, oh, I have them now, but I didn't really need it. It's a want, and we have to really separate our wants from our needs, and really go from there, and then I think a lot of things be clear, and you'll have a little bit more put down
Right.
for yourself, and you kind of differentiate. So
Now, you may not want to take Yummy Mummies into the franchise realm of business, but ultimately, what would you want this business to do for you and your customers and your family?
I think I was most of all right now. So right now, I mean, I don't want to make it, into a huge franchise. But the thing is that when I started, I didn't even think I'd be doing it for this long. It was just basically following my passion, and the money will follow. And that's what kind of happened from doing it. But I think I want to educate people more than anything else. Barbadians who are so focused on meat being the only protein source.
Right.
To understand that you can incorporate more vegetables and a better, less processed diet on a budget. And then you don't have to avoid, then you can avoid all the sicknesses and stuff that come along with it. We have so many sick people, and it's related to food.
Yeah.
So that's really want to teach people, really show and understand, let people understand that you can have a better diet. It doesn't have to be super expensive, and live a more sustainable life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
really
really
And I can't help but thinking that we're going full circle from the time of our grandparents who would tell you we lived on the ground. Whatever came out of the ground ended up in the table, ended up in our stomachs.
Yeah.
And they live long.
But that's it, and I always say you start off, you don't say no to one thing, you just
Right.
incorporate more things, and you start to feel better. And I don't think a lot of my people on my meal plan, they only do plant-based, but I'm sure they still eat meat. But at least one meal of the day is no meat, and that's where it starts. And you feel better, your workouts are better, you have more energy, and you go from there and you continue it. Because once you feel good, you want to keep going back to that feeling.
So I want to go back to the teaching, because I only realized in the last year and a half that I really do enjoy teaching and helping people if they want to speak better, if they want to project better, if they just want to be able to say hello without feeling like they're breaking out into hives in a public situation. I found out only recently I actually enjoy that.
Yeah.
What do you really want to teach?
Well, I've started to teach people and coach people, how to incorporate more things into your diet. So for example, pumpkin seeds are full of protein. And who's going to sit on there and just pop pumpkin seeds in your mouth? But a lot of people have nut allergies.
Yeah.
So what do? You take pumpkin seeds, which are very high in protein, and you take the nuts out and you make a pesto.
You see, I would never have guessed that.
So you're thinking of having your protein in a piece of meat, chicken, steak, fish. But if you had this pesto on some whole wheat pasta or some gluten-free pasta, you're actually having your protein without actually having meat. So just teaching them tricks, so to speak, of how to incorporate more plant-based sources. And that's what it's really about. So people think plant-based is boring, it's just steamed vegetables. No, it's not. You can take your traditional sauces and just incorporate more. I just put out a Christmas menu where we're doing vegan shepherd's pie for Christmas.
Oh, I'd be interested in that. Yes.
And you're using the lentils, which are super high in protein, as your meat replacement. And that's why you're having your protein in it, and you're lighter, and you feel better, and you don't feel like you're going into a coma.
Pretty much at the end of the evening,
at the end of
when
the
you're really
evening,
supposed to be
Christmas
enjoying your
evening.
time.
Yeah, exactly. So that's just basically all about teaching people how to get more plant-based protein sources into their everyday diet. Yeah.
And that really leaves your legacy, because if you teach me one thing, I can say, you know what I learned from Annmarie?
Yeah.
Lentils over meat. I may not do it every time, but if you do it a couple of times, you can't be worse off.
Exactly, and you're mixing it up, and you have more variety in your diet, which is really what's important, because then you'll go long term with it. It's not really a diet; it's a lifestyle change. And that's really what I want to teach people. And I've started to teach it. A lot of patients that have different issues with them, health problems, and they've learned they're learning how to incorporate more plant-based into their diet. So that's really what I hope to help people with.
I can't help but think that somewhere out there is a young man or woman saying to themselves, for the longest time, I have had this burning desire to do X, Y, Z. I don't have the money to start. I don't know where to begin.
Yeah.
But
those are real questions. Those are real thoughts and worries.
How do you even tell them where to start?
You just start.
Just start.
Action cures fear.
Action. Can we get a t-shirt? Action cures fear.
I stole that from my mentor. That's exactly it. And that's why you have people around you. For me, it's my friends, my female friends. They're great supporters, but you have people who motivate you and want you to become better and work harder and think outside the box. And, she has that as her WhatsApp what's it called?
The status.
The status, yeah.
Yes.
Action cures fear. And it's true because all these fears that consume our mind and they stop us from going. They numb us, and we just have to keep going and then you'll figure everything out. When I started Yummy Mummies, it was a picture, as I said before, of my meals. I didn't know I was starting. I had $20. $20. $20. And I bought some chickpeas and I soaked it and I boiled it and I made hummus. And I had some black rice and I bought that and I put that together with some tomato salsa, and that's how it started. We're so afraid to start. But when we just start, everything is gonna, starting, following your passion, not chasing money,
right?
Chasing your passion, and just going for it, all in, work hard. And I'm telling you, like 80% of the time it's gonna happen. And if it doesn't, it's for a reason.
Right.
And we use that failure,
yeah,
as, because there's no real failures, but you use that failure to push you into something greater.
And I always say, if we start to reassess and redefine our relationship with this thing we call failure,
exactly,
what we find is we're still on the learning curve.
Oh my gosh, like I can't tell you, people always see the great things. So they see me at Bliss, I do Bliss every year. This is the first year I didn't do Bliss due to the pandemic. And, Annmarie, you're doing so well. And I love to see the comments on Instagram. So proud of you, girl, doing so well. And so many times I have questions like, am I doing well? Because you question yourself and you judge yourself, but you can't let that take over you. You gotta keep going.
Yeah.
You gotta keep going. You gotta use every failure as a stepping stone to something greater. And you just have to, don't stop. Keep going. And because you're inspiring people along the way. You don't even realize you're inspiring people, but yeah.
Action cures fear.
Action cures fear. Great, huh? Great. It is, but it's so true. The fear just goes through the window because you're in it.
Yep.
You can't stop. You gotta keep going. All right. So that's just what it's really about.
Love it.
Yeah.
At Dwellings, we believe that home means happy. That your home is a place where you do what you love. With the things that you love. And the people who you love. That's why our selection of housewares and fine furnishings is designed to inspire your dream home. Dwellings, we make your home happy.
There's hardly been a conversation I've had this year that did not involve the C word, COVID. So I've got to ask you, if you could recommend a policy that government or any other affiliated agency could implement to help business people like you navigate a pandemic better, what would that be?
I think one of the biggest things for me is that during COVID, local farmers couldn't keep up with the demand. Because we didn't have the demand, the need, because majority of us buy non-local products. Majority of our vegetables are imported. So if we had some sort of policy where 80%, 89% of the products on the shelves were local, that farmers were accustomed to keep up to for the demand, the need, then I think it will benefit us all. When borders shut and you can't import, what are you gonna do?
We felt it.
Yeah, but if you could grow it, then you're always gonna be in good hands, and taken care of. And I think that's what a lot of Bajans are learning nowadays, to cater for Bajans, from Bajans. A lot of restaurants have started doing more local menus.
Imagine.
But these menus should be local from the beginning.
From the beginning.
We have great products that we can make and, make more top class or top drawer or whatever, more
fancy.
Do what you gotta do. We can do that, but we have to focus more on locals and keeping each other happy and money in our pockets, and let that money go wrong within each other. And that's what I think that's what we could learn, and what the government could probably do is to implement a policy to make that happen. So, yeah.
And I know someone out there's listening, so it's free advice.
Advice.
I have enjoyed speaking to you even for the second time.
Good.
I feel like I learned even more this time around.
Yeah, it feels like a natural flow.
Yeah, I feel like things have happened and you said, this is what I've learned and this is what I want to share. And I'm so happy that you are the open book and the full ball of energy that you are. You are addictive.
Thank you very much. I'm really happy to be able to do this the second time around. I was very, very happy to do it. So Thanks again for having me.
So for anybody who wants to find Annmarie Leach, where do they find you?
On Instagram, aleach.yummymummies@gmail.com is my email. But all the information is on Instagram and Facebook. So hit me up.
There you go. And get healthy. And I want to thank you all so much. We love ourselves some Yummy Mummies. It is delicious food. I'm telling you, I can't wait to get in the kitchen with you one day. You can teach me some things firsthand.
Sure. I'd be happy to.
Yes, because health is wealth, and we are here to grow both. Thank you so much for another fantastic Pivot series.
At Dwellings, we believe that home means happy. That your home is a place where you do what you love. With the things that you love. And the people who you love. That's why our selection of housewares and fine furnishings is designed to inspire your dream home. Dwellings, we make your home happy.